It's morphin' time! Pterodactyl!
This is Datila with 3 Years of Wrestling Mania, the It's Wrestling Time push. And for tonight, I will be reviewing Impact Wrestling. Alright, so tonight's show was the go-home show to Rebellion, and it kicked off with Violent by Design versus Decay. This was an okay match. It wasn't too bad. You know, of course, Violent by Design did win. So they're going into Rebellion with momentum. But I will say a couple of things. One thing that stood out to me was Crazy Steve biting Diener. And then it seemed like Black Taurus got injured. At least that's what commentary said, because after the match was over, they cut to a segment in the back, and they say Black Taurus is injured, and then Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans attack Rosemary and Havoc, respectively. So then we get a major player segment. If you guys recall last week, the major players did reunite and they took out W. Morrissey. Alrighty, so basically, you know, Matt Cardona says that the major players are here, and how appropriate is it that he's in the ECW arena because he's a death match king. He says he's all about 3 things: buzz, money, and gold, and has been winning championships all over the world. But here in Impact, he is the DMC, the Digital Media Champion. He said he's getting itchy and wants tag team gold. He said there's no one better to be his partner than the guy he broke into the business with, Brian Myers. So before I go on, I have to say I'm actually really digging this, even though I wasn't a huge fan of Matt Cardona to begin with. He won me over with this segment. I have to say he really did. So Brian Myers goes on to say he is the best version of himself, the most professional wrestler. And even though he and Matt Cardona didn't always see eye to eye, they do now. And so Matt Cardona goes on to say he is the best version of himself, especially with his hot wife, Chelsea Green, by their side. So again, I'm really digging the fact that the major players did reunite because Impact needs tag teams. They do. They lack tag teams. So I'm so glad that this happened. So Chelsea Green says tells Impact to take this in. She says individually they were champions. Individually they were world renowned. And individually, that's all they could talk about. That's all everybody could talk about. She says, as a unit, they're the strongest in pro wrestling. She says she's the strongest woman in pro wrestling to take out Mickie James. And then Brian Myers goes on to say that him and Matt are the most decorated tag team. So Brian Myers and Matt Cardona get interrupted by Guido Maritato and Tony Mama Luke. So ECW originals. And the crowd starts chanting ECW, ECW, ECW. And Guido says he started his career in this building and has seen wrestlers pave the way for Matt Cardona, Chelsea Green, and Brian Myers for them to step into the ring tonight. And he tells Matt Cardona not to ever disrespect the building because it's not theirs, it's the fans. And he says that they don't look like major players, they look like major sissies and major idiots. Matt Cardona says that they haven't been relevant since ECW died 20 years ago. And so Guido asked Matt Cardona to put his Digital Media Championship on the line. And so this leads into the Digital Media Championship match. You have Matt Cardona versus Guido Maritato. This, I have to say, I found it funny how Matt Cardona offered a handshake to Guido. But of course, he didn't actually. I mean, he just did it to get the upper hand. And there was this one spot, if you guys recall, earlier this year, Matt Cardona accidentally hit Chelsea Green with the steel chair. And so Tony Mama Luke was standing in front of her, so he ducked, and Matt Cardona almost hit her. But he stopped himself. So then, at one point, he rips off his shirt and he chokes Guido with it. And of course, Brian Myers is going to distract the referee to allow Matt Cardona to take advantage here. He hit Guido with 2 different low blows at 2 different points in the match. And of course, Matt Cardona is victorious in this match. So then at the end, we get a post-match assault. As Brian Myers attacks Mama Luke. And then Cardona and him get a table from under the ring. And W. Morrissey attacks comes out, he attacks Cardona, and just as he's about to attack Brian Myers, Chelsea Green gives him a low blow, and then just as Brian Myers is attempting a BQE, the ultimate insult if you ask me on Brian Myers, on W. Morrissey, Jordan Grace comes out, and she attacks Chelsea Green and Brian Myers. If you guys recall, Cardona took the Digital Media Championship from Jordan Grace. So then Jordan Grace drops Cardona. She helps W. Morrissey. She basically encourages him to put Cardona to the table. He chokeslams Cardona through the table and shakes hands with Jordan Grace. So I'm very curious to see where this leads. Are we going to get ourselves a tag team match now, player? Holla. Which means, are we going to get Chelsea Green and Cardona versus W. Morrissey and Jordan Grace? I don't know. I'm very intrigued by this storyline now. Very, very intrigued. Then we get a quick Honor No More segment, the first of two. And Eddie Edwards basically says that in 2 days at Rebellion, he will face Jonathan Gresham and will teach him a painful lesson because he still believes in honor. Then Matt Taven says that they will be Impact Tag Team Champions. And Kenny King basically says, how can you be shooters without bullets in your guns? All right, and then we get a quick mess promo from Jonah, who basically says that he gave PCO a fair warning and put him away for good. And now it's going to be a dogfight at Rebellion as he faces Tomohiro Ishii. So we get Shera, accompanied by Raj, versus Gabriel Rodriguez. This is all you need to know about this. This is a quick squash match. And this leads into the next segment, Buphinuder Gujjar, who says he doesn't have regrets, doesn't want someone like Raj by his side, and it doesn't even matter how successful Shera is. He's had 4 successful matches in a row. He's happy for Raj and Shera, just as long as they stay out of his way. If you guys recall, Raj had been trying to get Buphinuder Gujjar to be in alliance with him, so now he's formed an alliance with Shera. Then we get a quick segment with Moose, who basically says that he wants to assurance for his safety. Scott D'Amore tells them, well, there was no assurance for Josh's wife when he visited at Josh's home or when he speared Josh's wife at the Destiny show. Then we get Honor No More versus Bullet Club. Oh my god, this was an incredible match. A very incredible match. I actually liked it. So Vincent and Carl Anderson start the match. I really like how Jay White and Matt Taven get in each other's faces here. Oh my god, my favorite part of this match was when Chris Bay and Kenny King go at it. Apparently, Kenny King trained Chris Bay, and this is the first ever matchup between the both of them. It left me wanting for more. I wanted more after this match. But we didn't. We got like a little tiny more of it, but I want to see a one-on-one match between both of them. I like how Mike Bennett throws up a too sweet gesture as he tries to pin Bay. And, like, of course, there was this one moment where Mike Bennett trips Carl Anderson, pulls him to the side. Carl Anderson gets distracted by Maria and then allowed Matt Taven to take advantage. I thought that was a cool spot. And then, of course, at the end, he gets gun stun, and then he gets a magic killer, and Bullet Club wins. So very good match. I actually really dug it. That should have been the last match. I'm not sure what happened. They said they were promoting this as a main event. Well, anywho, then we get a Steve Maclin promo, who congratulates Jay White for doing it again. He says, but he's not alone. He's always with his club. Just like how Sabin always needs someone to watch his back, like Alex Shelley in the Motor City Machine Guns. Steve Maclin says he belongs to a club too. They have honor, courage, loyalty, and that is a brotherhood that truly is for life. He says it doesn't have weaknesses, it doesn't have dishonesty, and they trust each other with their lives. And he said that's why he jumped Chris Sabin on Multiverse. Because Sabin has no loyalty, no trust. Jay White can be trusted. He says, look at the Gorillas of Destiny. And that's true that Jay White turned on the Gorillas of Destiny. He said, at Rebellion, neither man will have backup. They will be there alone with him. And Maclin loves to fight alone. Attack him, bag him, and mayhem for all. I actually really dug this promo. I really liked it. I've been a huge fan of Steve Maclin since he came on to Impact. So this was a great promo. I really hope he wins. He needs a win. So I really, really hope Steve Maclin wins this match. Then we get a quick segment with the IInspiration, who basically says they have the ability to bring people in and out of their world. And now that Caleb's totally out of the picture, they can simply focus on getting the tag titles back and be 2-time champions. We get a Taya Valkyrie segment, who basically says, of course, everybody knows Deonna Purrazzo's champ because she doesn't shut up about it. She says she wants to get back what she never lost, was just the AAA Reina de Reinas title. She says that title represents decades and decades of lucha libre and culture. And that's what she lives, and that's what she breathes. I cannot wait for this match. I cannot wait, honestly. Cannot wait for that match. Then we get Speedball Mike Bailey and Ace Austin versus Laredo Kid and Trey Miguel. Wow, this match was incredible, I have to say. Ace Austin and Speedball Mike Bailey, amazing chemistry. Just like Laredo Kid and Trey Miguel, amazing chemistry. Both teams worked really well together. I really liked how at one point Ace Austin kicked Trey Miguel, but he used Speedball to get to Trey Miguel, and then Speedball used Ace Austin to kick Laredo Kid. And so that was a really cool spot, but in the end, it didn't matter because Trey Miguel and Laredo Kid ended up being victorious. And here's the thing, Ace Austin was livid. He attacked Trey Miguel at the end, took the title out of his hands, and he was encouraging Speedball Mike Bailey to attack him. But what does Speedball do? He attacks Ace Austin. And I was like, because I did not think Speedball would be the one to attack Ace Austin. I thought Ace Austin would be the one to attack Speedball. But I guess I was wrong. But that was still a really cool moment and segment in this match. I dug that. I really, really dug that. And now I cannot wait for Rebellion and cannot wait to see what happens. Alright, so then we get another segment with Honor No More. I told you guys, it was the first of two, this is the second. Basically says that they're going to sweep everything to tag titles, and then Edwards will defeat Jonathan Gresham. But Vincent says he's got some business to attend and would like to be excused. And then you see him go to the car, pulls out cables. He goes to like this room, this house that has like a bed sprawled out, and inside his PCO he's laid out. Kind of reminded me like a scene out of a horror movie, kind of like Frankenstein monster. But then again, PCO is the French Canadian Frankenstein. Well, that would make sense that they have that little homage thing to Frankenstein. I mean, Homeboy literally puts cables on PCO and electrocutes him and brings him back to life. And as he's waking up, he shouts Jonah. So I don't know if their rivalry is over yet. So with Moose's public apology, he basically introduces his attorney, Artie Evans, his barrister, who wants the crowd to show respect because he's got an important message. Moose stops him halfway, saying the letter's not convincing enough. It doesn't sound sincere. And then he says that no one deserves to go through what he put Josh's family through. He says that he's sorry for showing all the people how much of a loser Josh is sorry for exposing Josh for not being a protector to his wife, for not being a role model to his kids, but he's not sorry for whooping his ass at Bound for Glory, being the face of the company. He says he can't even protect his family. He plans on hurting Josh and sending his sorry ass home for more than 1 month and wants Josh to look into his eyes, and he's going to show his wife and kids what a real man looks like. I am not surprised Josh Alexander came out after this part that he said that, because Moose truly deserves to get his beat up after what he said and for all the stuff that he's done to Josh Alexander. So Josh Alexander comes out, starts knocking down security guards. Scott D'Amore gets in his face, but then he moves to the side and allows Josh to go through. Moose sets up a table and tries to put Josh to it, but instead Josh hits Moose with the C4 spike and goes through the table. And that's how it ends. Honestly, if you ask me and if you ask my opinion, their match at Rebellion needs a stipulation. At least I fear Josh's emotions are going to get the better of him and he's going to accidentally cost himself the match. But with that being said, great show. Great go-home show. It definitely got me excited for Rebellion. And that is what a go-home show is supposed to do. Get you excited for the pay-per-view. I actually dug this, but you know what? To me, the opening match started off a little slow, so I'm going to give tonight's Impact a 9 out of 10. But what do you guys think about tonight's Impact? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? What would you guys give tonight's show? And thank you guys all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after Rampage. Have a great night. Bye.